morning. Good morning. Good morning. How is everyone? Another round of applause for Nick Johnson. And I am not, by any stretch of the imagination, a Cincinnati Bengals fan, but I am, however, an Anthony Munoz fan. Please give Anthony Munoz a round of applause. To me, it doesn't really matter the accolades, the wealth, the notoriety. I remember Anthony Munoz for being a good human being, and that's actually how I want to be remembered, as a good human being. So I truly appreciate that kind of exemplary attitude, commitment to the community, commitment to people, commitment to you all. So really appreciate Anthony Munoz and the Anthony Munoz Foundation. How many of you have ever heard the expression, knowledge is power? Raise your hand if you ever heard that expression. It's only partly true. Actually, the application of knowledge is power, not just knowledge in and of itself. If your house is burning down, and you know your house is burning down, and you know how to put the fire out of your burning house, but you do nothing with it, your knowledge is great, but your house still burns down. So it's the application of knowledge that is powerful. That's important to me, and I hope that I can share some things and impart some things to you, because I'd like to really couch this conversation in the category things I wish somebody would have told me when I was your age. The most important part of this conversation is the idea or the concept of reverse engineering. Reverse engineering is to begin your journey with a clear and distinct goal based on what you know your purpose in life to be. Your purpose. Your purpose is that thing that you do if money and time were of no consequence. The thing that you do and you lose track of time, you lose sleep, you forget to eat, you forget to go to the bathroom, you forget to shower, hopefully not too often. But your purpose is based on that understanding, that thing that you get completely lost in. And your purpose sets your vision. And what I want to frame this in is the context of reverse engineering with what I call a VIP methodology. And VIP, as you probably know, stands for very important person, but in this context, it stands for visioning, intentionality, and preparedness. Visioning is actively and frequently creating mental pictures of yourself fulfilling your purpose. Taking time out of each and every one of your days to really envision what your life is supposed to be like based on the things that you have been gifted to do, based on your aptitude, based on your proclivities, based on the things that you get lost in doing. Sitting there and seeing it. You gotta be able to envision it before it can become something that comes into fruition. If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. So you have to be very intentional about that vision, which leads me to the second letter in the VIP methodology, which is intentionality. Living on purpose. Intentionality means to deliberately and in your actions be as deliberate as possible in framing the life that matches the vision that you've already established. To do it with unyielding, unbending intentionality. And the last thing in that particular three-letter acronym is preparedness. My uncle used to tell me, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Preparedness is always refining the skills necessary to make sure that the thing that you have envisioned, actually, you're prepared and ready for when the opportunity strikes. That level of preparedness, that level of intentionality, that level of vision is always influenced by the things and the people that surround you. The experiences that you have. Those things that you give yourself opportunity to be a part of. And for that, I'd love to share with you something that one of my greatest mentors shared with me, and it's called the exposure quotient. A mentor named Dr. Obadiah Williams shared this with me roughly about 15 years ago. The exposure quotient. It's an equation. You got a piece of paper and you write it down. The exposure quotient is GQ plus EQ equals DQ equals IQ. GQ plus EQ equals DQ equals IQ. So what's GQ? GQ is your genetic quotient. It's the assumption that you have your activity of limbs, you're in a frame of mind where you can conceptualize things and answer particular questions and solve particular problems. That's your genetic quotient. That plus EQ. What is EQ? EQ is your exposure quotient. The things that you intentionally surround yourself with, the experiences, the people, the opportunities that you take risks on, those things are a very critical part of your development. Those two things combined will equal DQ. And DQ is your desire quotient. Because you and the activity of your limbs and the things that you are exposed to will ultimately influence and impact what you desire. And then ultimately what you desire will then equal your IQ. And your IQ, as everybody in here knows, the teachers especially, is your intelligence quotient. So understand the confluence of that particular equation. Your genetic quotient plus your exposure quotient will equal what you desire, and that will ultimately equal what you're intelligent about. If you wanted to be a musician and you surrounded yourself with musicians, high caliber, state-of-the-art, world-class musicians, you will begin to desire that level of understanding of musicianship, and that's an intelligence. If you wanted to be a criminal, same thing applies. Same thing applies. If you wanted to be a world-class athlete, you would surround yourself with coaches and mentors and individuals who understand every component that would make you a world-class athlete. And that's a level of intelligence. Those kinds of exposures, those kinds of experiences are critical to your overall development and critical for you being able to visualize, to be intentional, and to be prepared for the success that you've established for yourself. These are the things that I wish somebody would have told me when I was your age. When I was your age, my father, this was a couple years ago, my father gave me this picture of me. And it was a picture of me in Burnett Woods. Anybody familiar with Burnett Woods? I was with my family, we were in a cookout, we were running. My sister, my cousins, we were at the starting line, we were racing. Get on your mark, get set, go. And what we were racing for was this bank of trees, because back then we did not have smartphones. This is pre-internet. There was no Wi-Fi, no apps, no games. FaceTime was actually face-to-face with somebody. And what we did was we ran to this bank of trees, and our game was to climb the tree to see how high you can get. And you had to use your wits, you had to use the strength of your limbs, you had to use your ambition to get as high as possible. Now, me and my 7-year-old mind at the time, I wasn't racing my sister and my cousins, I was trying to outrun my fears. I was trying to use that ambition to see if I could run on the wind and see how high I can climb, and maybe I can grab a cloud. Not because grabbing clouds had any particular use to a young black kid in urban Cincinnati, but because I wanted to see if I put forth all the effort that I had, if it would be transformative to me. Because I understood, even at that age, that if you put forth all the effort that you have, you can be the best version of yourself. And that's what I hope for you. I hope that you put forth the opportunity and take full advantage of every opportunity you have to vision things properly, to be intentional about that visioning, and to be prepared. Because in so doing, that can be transformative to you and even the people around you. So get on your mark, get set.